they believed that they could set a high price point for Trocheck and they could possibly uh,
Yeah.
maybe overcompensate a little bit for what they didn't get in the Artemi Panarin trade, because obviously they were a little handcuffed in that situation. So they were probably, Drury was probably looking to overcompensate a little bit and get an even bigger haul than I think a lot of other teams were willing to give up. Welcome back to Up in the Blue Seats, everybody. As always, it's Mollie Walker and former Ranger Brian Boyle, your hosts. It's trade deadline day. Brian is a little bit more well dressed than I am. He's been on air actually talking about all the deals going
No,
on,
not
and I've
yet.
been
Not yet.
oh,
Not
not
yet.
yet.
No,
Well,
not
he's
yet.
about to go on to talk about all the other deals that have been going on, but I've been in my pajamas all day, and my phone has had negative messages. That's kind of encompasses what this Rangers trade deadline has been. Not nearly as many moves as we all once thought just a few weeks ago. I think we've all been waiting for the trade call on Vincent Trocheck, and that one never came. Brian, are you surprised?
I'm not totally surprised when you saw Minnesota do a bunch of things because I really think they wanted Troach, and then they started pivoting and did a bunch of things.
Yeah.
I did think, I mean, Detroit had to do something, and it looks like they finally made a move and they got Justin Falk out of St. Louis, which is like that's something. I I thought they would do a little more, and we'll see. They didn't do nothing though this year, which is something.
Hmm.
With Troach, I've said it, maybe not on here, maybe I have on here, but I don't know uh, why moving him was of urgency. If you get your doors blown off with the deal, fine. Being as where this team is right now and what they need to do to kind of recoup some assets and build, but he's a great player. I
Hmm.
think he's a great teammate. The we've you know you Molly, you've been in the rooms all year, all the different at the home rink, at
Hmm.
practice rinks and visiting rinks, and when his name comes up to teammates, you can just hear how genuinely
Hmm.
they adore this guy. So
Yeah.
hanging on to that and not giving that away for cents on the dollar was the right move. And I think Chris Drury had a reason to value him as high as he did. He's a great player and a great teammate.
Yeah, I think that the urgency that you referred to was probably more so about the center market right now, and we kind of saw that over the last couple of days of what it kind of turned out to look like. I think that they believed that they could set a high price point for Trocheck and they could possibly uh,
Yeah.
maybe overcompensate a little bit for what they didn't get in the Artemi Panarin trade, because obviously they were a little handcuffed in that situation. So they were probably, Drury was probably looking to overcompensate a little bit and get an even bigger haul than I think a lot of other teams were willing to give up. Obviously, Minnesota was a team that we had heard was in it kind of from the beginning, and it became pretty clear that Drury set a high price point for Trocheck, and they weren't going to make the trade just to make the trade, and the price point that they set wasn't met. So I think that this was a possibility that they always thought could happen. But that being said, I do think it could make for an interesting situation just because we've seen what happens in the past when a player who has been told that they want to, move on from him and, then he's allowed to walk back into the locker room. We saw it with Jacob Trouba, and it makes for an interesting dynamic and probably a difficult dynamic for players to fully commit to what's going on in the locker room. So I think that Trocheck has been a consummate professional the entire time. He has shown absolutely zero indication that he wouldn't, be giving 100% to this team so long as he's here for the rest of the season. Um, but I just think it's always a little bit of a risk to be sending that kind of dynamic back into the locker room. Do you not agree?
Well, his name's out there, and you're honest from the start. And I can only go back to what my own experience was with Ray Shero and New Jersey and with Steve Yzerman in Tampa. When your team's at a certain point and you are of value, you're going to hear your name,
Of course.
out there. And when you're a player like Troch, it's going to be out there more because more fan bases are going to want to hear about if he has if there's a potential path for them to get that player. Um, Certainly, I think, I don't want to speak for you guys, but writers are probably going to be interested
Hmm.
in other teams if there's a connection. If you're writing for Minnesota, if you're
Hmm.
Russo in Minnesota and you're writing for
Right.
Minnesota, you're going to try and find every piece of information you can on if that is a potential fit or it could potentially happen, right? Like
Of
that's,
course.
and so the buzz comes up. And at no point does that mean you're a bad teammate or the team doesn't want you
Of
anymore.
course not. Yeah.
If you lose games, it's like you have to make changes. And if you're losing games and you're not like a big piece of a team that's losing games, your value's not that high. I'm sorry. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're Sam Carrick, who, I
Right.
mean, look at the list of guys he fought. Look at what he does on that team. Look at the minutes he plays. He never complains. He's going to have value. And he goes to Buffalo. Buffalo had a targeted approach to the trade deadline. It's like we have all this skill. We always get all this skill. We've had all this skill for a
Hmm.
long time. We've traded away a ton of skill that's gone on to win.
Right.
What was their environment like? Okay, well, the guys that we traded down into Florida are a big, tough, heavy team. They're mean, and they all sort of fell in line. Like the guy that we traded to Vegas went to a big, tough, heavy team that were really mean, and they won a cup. Okay, let's make ourselves a big, tough, heavy team. We get Carrick, we get Shen, we get Stanley.
Mm.
Troach, it's like he's a tough, heavy player who's got a lot of skill, and he just won the gold medal, and he's had playoff success. And so it's like
Right.
we always loved you. We signed you to this deal because we love you, but that's where we were. But we weren't going to give you up for nothing. We would have had to be a ton of stuff coming back to us because we still value it that much. So, like I guess I was saying a long way of saying is between player and management, it should be fine unless they're like dangling it in front of them in the offseason now and the next trade, whatever. Like that's not the way to
Yeah,
go.
that's you don't want to
This,
jerk back and forth like that. Yeah. That's
but
my only thing is,
yeah,
now I think, I'm always thinking about how I'm sure, especially you could speak to this as a player, you want to hear that you're valued and you want
yeah,
to, you want to be kept here. And especially in this sort of situation where they keep calling it a retool and it's not like a total rething. So like, wouldn't you
right.
want to tell him that, he's a quintessential part of it moving forward? Obviously, that's what he would want to hear, but obviously, it doesn't always work out that way. But my other concern with the whole situation is Drury going to be able to get the same types of deals that were on the table this time around for Trocheck in the offseason, or if he's able to get that extra piece or two that I'm assuming that he was looking for. Because then we risk dragging this out further into the off season. And, if you're not able to get those deals, those offers back, to begin with, then you're just kind of in a even more of a sticky situation now.
Well, yeah, but I mean, so Braden Shen goes to the island, right?
I
And
loved what the Islanders did, by the way. Just a
well,
side
yeah,
note.
I mean they traded for him and then they extended Pajot. So now I mean, I don't know. In a couple of years, who
That's
knows?
their
But they
guy.
ha
Pajot was always their guy.
no, and
So
he's look, that guy's skating maybe faster than he's
yeah,
ever skated, having just watching him
yeah,
play. Like the guy's actually gained a step. So I'm not saying like he's older, but like they have older centers now. They
yeah.
have a window with their, all-world defensemen
Hmm.
that, they have to strike now because he's still entry level. In a few years, he's gonna be making $15 million. So I get it.
Correct. Yeah.
But like say Chris Drury trades Vince Trocheck and that trade call comes through and they get a decent package. And then you see that, St. Louis just got a first round pick, a third round pick, Jonathan Drouin, so that's probably a money thing. And
Hmm.
then a pretty highly touted goalie prospect. Like
Right.
if it came anything less than that for Troch, who's a better player at this stage, I think
Yeah.
it would have been, the torches would have been out and it wouldn't have been a
I
good
think it
look.
was, I think they set it really high though.
They had to.
I think it was, the pieces that were out there were Minnesota's 2027 first, Charlie Strammel, another highly touted defensive prospect, and I'm sure they wanted like an NHL ready player,
Probably
like a
Europe or
young
something.
guy. Yeah, yeah, it's funny you say him because when I initially wrote about the whole situation a couple days ago, when I was looking at Minnesota's assets and what they had, I was going to write his name, but then I was really looking into it and I was like, they're not going to trade him. Like
Right. Yeah.
yeah, I was like, they're not going to trade him. So I'm sure that that was a piece that they were reaching for 100%. So yeah,
Well,
I
they
mean,
should
like,
have.
yeah, you can't fault him for shooting for the stars in this situation, especially coming off of the Artemi situation too. But I do have concerns with sending a player back into that room after making him go through all that. And I think that he'll handle it maybe better than Truba did. I mean, that you can only hope. Um, but I guess we'll see on that front. But I
Yeah, I
think
don't
it's
think
always
there
a
was
bit
the
of
whole
a
like, yeah,
dangerous play.
yeah, but it's not. It is, but it is different because it's like, hey, wave your no move. And he's like, no.
Right.
It's like, wave your
Yeah.
no move. No.
Yeah.
They're like, well, we might.
Yeah.
If we get a great deal, we might because we might have to. We don't
Yeah.
want to, but we
Yeah.
might have to. And he's like,
And
okay.
even just listening to Trocheck when we talked to him the other day, after his last practice, well, I guess it wasn't his last practice, but um, you know, him just flat out being like, "Yeah, I got West Coast teams on my no trade clause. Yeah, I want to go to a team that's good." Like
Yeah.
he's been through this. He's a pro at this. So he was very unfazed by it, which I
Yeah.
found very entertaining, honestly.
I'm happy for the wife and kids just because I've been
Yeah.
through it. It's really difficult.
Oh
It's not,
yeah. No,
it's part of the
nobody
game.
won. I kind of want to tweet this right now. Nobody won trade deadline day more than Leo Trocheck. I
That's
think.
good. Yeah.
That
I might
was
get
that was
traded.
one of the most adorable quotes I think that came out of this
Uh,
was Trocheck talking about how his son was like, "Well, I have a hockey team. I didn't get traded, so I'll stay here and you can go."
well, yeah, but his season, if it's not over last weekend, it will be next weekend. I know how the whole hockey, I know the
Yeah.
schedule.
Brian's like, I know how it works. I know how it works. Oh
So,
man. Yeah,
yeah,
so Vincent Trocheck will be in the lineup.
well,
Uh
wait, hold on a second. There's a big win last
mm,
night. You can tinker
Say
with
it
the
again.
lineup now. There was a big win last night. Are they
Oh,
going to tinker with the lineup now?
stop. Actually, get out of my face with
All
that.
right. No.
Um,
My boys were entertained. We were up on the 10th floor. They were jumping up, singing the goal song. It's great.
yeah, it was a good night. But yeah, we'll get to let's talk about
Okay.
Carrick
Okay.
first.
Yeah.
Sam Carrick going to Buffalo was also held out of the Leafs game, so that was a good indication that there was interest there. I mean, why wouldn't there be? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I think that looking at this Rangers roster, he he's jumped out of the page off the page since he's been a Ranger, I think.
Mhm.
So the Rangers get a 2026 third round pick and a sixth round pick. And Buffalo gets a whole maple syrup supplies and an enforcer and Sam Carrick. I like the move. I did. And Sam
Yeah.
Carrick has been just a great Ranger since the very beginning. You always knew what you were going to get from him every single night.
Yeah. That's you know, a great way for a lot of, kids and fans to realize like this is a guy who embraced fully what he was asked to do and tried to do
Hmm.
that. It's everybody when you're young, you try to be the best player on the team. You want to be the best player in the league when you're at a certain level. And you get to a certain point in pro where you're like, I have to do my job as best I can do it. And it's like you go into games, and I remember when we played the Islanders, like the Islanders weren't great, but they had a fourth line that was really good. And
Hmm.
whether I was on the third line or the fourth line, like I'd play against them a little bit, especially when we're on the road. And I keep hearing about how they're the best. This is the best grinder line in hockey. And we'd have like conversations like, that's who we're playing against. We got to be better than them. And this guy does that
Yeah.
every, I
Yeah.
mean, he had a fight with Tom Wilson in Washington, D.C. this year where it was like nothing had to be said. Wilson had a big hit on Laba. And the first
Hmm.
chance that Sam Carrick had, he didn't give Wilson a choice. Now,
Nope.
Wilson's a willing combatant. He would
Yeah.
he would go
Always.
anybody, but Carrick did what he had to do, and he hung in there, and he stayed on his feet a long time, and I just like I got so much respect for the guy. Seen him fight the flu one flight, and he was just did not look good. Played the next night,
Mm,
right? Like he
yeah.
just doesn't.
Yeah, he's a warrior.
No excuses. Just gonna go do his job. Has a chance now. Like, dude, this Buffalo team, they got heavier. He's got a
Yeah.
chance. Like they got a chance to do something. I don't know how long it's going to be because they're in Tampa's division, but they get in, they might win a round. I'm not. It would not surprise me at all.
Yeah.
I'm
No, I
impressed with
liked
what they've
it.
done in Buffalo.
Me too. I liked it too. Um,
And you can still go try and sign him in the offseason.
yeah, that you can.
You might want to
That you
raise,
can.
but
He's earned one, I think.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, no, he's at a very affordable price point too. Yeah, no, he was honestly that Carrick, Edstrom, Rempe line was one of my favorite fourth lines that the Rangers have had. I always loved watching that line play together. It was electric. And talking to him about skating between those two guys too is so funny.
in the forest.
Yeah, he is seriously.
They
But
flew.
the thing is, he plays just as big as they do. That's
Yeah,
like my favorite part about it is watching him, compete next to guys of that size, and he takes up just as much room. He
yeah.
always does.
No, he's in the
Love that.
way. He's one of those
Yeah,
guys that's in the way. They flew too close to the sun. Their wings burned up, Molly. That line was too short-lived.
that it
Injuries and
was.
whatnot.
I know, I know. Such a shame. Such a
Mhm.
shame. But yeah, so long, Sam Carrick. We shall miss.
And
6-2
minor league
win.
was
Yeah. Oh
minor
yeah,
league
the
trade too.
minor league trade. Yeah, right. Let's
Well,
can't forget that one.
An older Pouliot goes away, and I get it. It's a 24-year-old kid. Maybe he's a late bloomer because he was in college. This is his first full pro season?
Pouliot
No,
or Thompson.
Thompson. I think it's his first full pro
Yeah,
season.
it's his first. Yeah, he's played like 4 games at the end of
Yeah,
last season,
right,
I
right.
think, after his junior
So
season at Denver ended. Yeah.
it's not, hey, who knows? Like sometimes these are the deals that are like, what? That's crazy. It works out because some guys take a little longer. So he's 24 and it's like he's not overly big,
Yeah.
but geez, he had a pretty good third season in college and
Yeah.
it's his first pro season. We'll see.
Yeah. And yeah, they think that has offensive upside.
Hmm.
They think he has winning pedigree because he won a national championship at Denver. So yeah, they like him. Small little AHL swap there, but I mean,
Big for them.
things are not going well in Hartford, so I don't really think anybody's
No,
exactly
no, they're not.
married to anything down there right now either. So that one made sense as well. And yeah, that just about wraps up the Rangers trade deadline right there.
Well, prepared for a
Um,
long show.
I know.
Show's over.
And scene. Um, but we could talk about the game. That was a really fun game. First win on
And
home ice in regulation since
it's
before Thanksgiving. Last
yeah,
time we get to say that. Um,
2025 was the year.
yeah. And you had such a great start to the game. You had a nice little round of applause from the crowd when you got
Oh
introduced
yeah.
to the Centennial Night. How was that?
No, it was good seeing everybody. Wednesday night we had a dinner. A bunch of the guys were there. Marion Gabrick flew over.
Oh,
Michael Delzato was there. Brandon Prust, Brandon Dubinsky, Carl Hagelin was there. Derek Dorsett, Kevin
squad.
Klein. We had a way. Obviously, Hank's there, stealing all the applause. And actually, Sean Avery's there too. It was great to see. I haven't seen him in forever. He looks great, and everybody seems to be doing well, which is kind of what we look at now. It's tough retiring. It's not easy. And then after like 10 minutes, it's kind of you're back in the room and everybody's just ripping each other to shreds. It's the best.
Oh, that's so
Uh,
cute.
so we brought a bunch of kids down. Um,
Your
and
kids?
they were all up there, listening to the goal song. They got some autographs. They were saying, at one point, my son was like, Hank and Carl, I want Hank and Carl's autograph. I'm like, there's a lot of really good
Fair.
players here. You should get everyone's autograph. I just want I'm like, what are you, Team Sweden now? Like, what are we doing here?
Team
Get over
Sweden.
there and get Doobie's autograph. So they had a
That's so
blast. It was
great.
so cool to go down there and just, I love that. I love that place. I love the garden. The garden ice. It's just, it's a thrill.
They
It
loved
really
you
is.
too. He
It
got
was just a
you beat
thrill.
out of everybody. Hank
Yeah.
obviously got the loudest, but yours was pretty loud too from where I was sitting up there.
Oh, Prusty, Aves, these guys, it was just, and we got to play together. We get to play together
Yeah.
for the New York Rangers. It's the coolest thing, it's the coolest thing professionally ever. Playing New York Rangers, playing for a Stanley Cup for the New York Rangers. Man, it was so fun. And I was trying to just
Yeah.
get
Soak
my
it in.
boys to have a memory, and then they put up six. So I was just so happy that I'm sure some fans want them to get a better chance at Gavin
Definitely.
McKenna, but like that night, I'll never forget that. The boys are just going nuts, eating M&Ms, going
Oh,
crazy.
good. Eating M&Ms left and
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
No, I mean, I think the Rangers have done such a great job with the Centennial stuff. I wrote like a behind the scenes piece. I interviewed Lundqvist and Graves and Richter were all very heavily involved in the whole process. And um, they even talked to Larry Brooks
yeah.
about it and Sam Rosen. So they really made sure to touch all their bases, and they did such a great job with every single theme night. Obviously, you wish it was a better season to celebrate it, but
Mhm.
100-year history was, I think, honored very well this season. So stick taps to the Rangers for that
Yeah.
for sure.
And Jackie and Sarah and Adam Graves is a huge part of it too. But like in the alumni group, they're so awesome getting us to come back, giving us opportunities to come back to do things at the Garden. They reach out to us uh, to keep us involved. And you know what? It's their job, but it's for us. And not every team has an alumni as strong, and it's because of those people that do that. So I want to thank them. They were just
Yeah.
they're
I
so
mean
awesome.
they were also able to get like all the family members of all the
Yeah,
late players. Like
yeah.
that was I thought
It's a
that was so awesome that they were able
huge
to do
lift.
that.
Like it's a
Yeah.
huge lift what they do, and they just
Yeah.
so didn't want to forget them. And Sam Rosen for coming out and doing all these too, because he's just
Yeah.
the man,
A
greatest guy.
master of ceremonies.
Yeah,
I love
best
it.
guy.
Yeah, and like you said, what a game. I mean, four
Yeah,
unanswered goals in the third. That Hevalash goal was
sick. We were going nuts.
absolutely gorgeous. And I said to him after his interview, I said, I don't think you could have smiled any bigger than you did.
Very
And
cool.
then he again smiled just as big as he did when he was on the ice. And it's like in a season like this, it's just to be able to see that elation and that pure emotion
Yeah.
from just a young guy who's just starting. Everybody benefits from it. Like everybody
Mhm.
can feel a little good about that and seeing that kind of goal and seeing that emotion from him. So that was a nice lift to see too, for sure. And Adam Edstrom comes back
Yeah.
into the lineup for the first time in a very long time. So he was obviously saying that it's been a while. You could feel it that it's been a
Yeah,
while
it's
since he's
tough.
been in game action out there. And he's gone through it with injuries, two
It's brutal.
major long-term lower body injuries in the span of 10 months. The first one he had to get surgery. He wouldn't say if there was surgery on this second one. He just said it was taken care of, had to be taken care of. Um, and I asked if there was going to be any more surgery. He said it should be all good. But yeah, good to get him back in the lineup too, for sure, with this young crowd that they've got going in the lineup.
Yeah, get some reps, get better. You know, you get Lafreniere's got a little more runway. He seems to have a little bit more confidence. So
Since
it's
Artemi was held out, he's
yeah,
been pretty good.
yeah. So these are the things, unfortunately, that you're looking for, but they're not nothing. It's not that insignificant for the time being. I get it. I get it. I get it. But that's what you can look forward to.
Yes. Yeah. JT is on IR with an
Oh,
upper body injury,
yeah, right
a
on the
new
back of
upper
the neck.
body injury.
That looked like it
Yeah.
hurt.
Yeah. He got like entangled in front of the net, fell, and then
Yeah.
took a slap shot off the back of the head neck area.
Oh,
That didn't look like it was a fun time.
then he got
So
up and made the sickest play ever. He sold like this wrist shot and just throws this little baby sauce to the middle where it just causes.
baby sauce.
Oh yeah, it was a beauty. And then that's
I don't
Borgen's
think I've
goal.
ever heard that term before.
little
Baby
bit,
sauce.
just a little baby
Little,
sauce.
little, little baby sauce.
Yeah, like a
I,
big Pomodoro is when you got like it's like a 60 footer. This is just
that's
a
so
little change
funny
up.
because when I first started writing at the Post, some of my first hockey articles, I used the word sauced like as a pass, and I had to get an email from my editors that was like, let's stop with the hockey slang.
It's not
We can't
slang.
use
It's a
that.
saucer.
It's a little slangish for our taste,
It flies
apparently.
through the air like a saucer.
I know. I had
Who's
to
your
I
editors? Who's your editors? Let me get them on the
you're gonna
horn with
write a
me.
letter.
No,
You're
just
gonna write a
call them.
letter.
Better when I'm face to face. Gets my point across a
Yeah,
little
I'm
better.
sure. More convincing, I'm sure.
Yeah,
But no, I had to like take that out of my vocabulary because I used it like a bunch of times. They were like, Molly, you got to stop with the sauce. Stop with the
I
sauce or
believe you
pass.
caved.
I did. I had to. It was my choice, above my pay grade.
All right. Well, I'm
What are you
disappointed.
gonna do? It's all right. Here we can describe it as sauce.
Oh, I'd like to
Little
see him write me a
Pomodoro.
letter. Write me a letter about hockey slang. I'll teach you the game real quick.
Oh my goodness. All right. I think that is a good place to stop our trade deadline edition of Up in the Blue Seats. Leave us a comment below, like and subscribe. Let us know what you think about the Rangers trade deadline moves and or lack thereof. Um, yeah, looking forward to rehearing from you. And we'll
Hmm.
chat again next week.